Hi, this is the Independent Autistic, and today we have a profile in autistic success, and their name is Leonardo da Vinci. Now, in the 1400s, there was no such thing as a diagnosis for autism, but the traits are there. So let's look at this interesting man. In childhood, he had a very hard childhood. Was considered illegitimate, was passed around to a lot of different places, but he was quite a dreamer. He wrote letters talking about military technology that he'd never actually worked with. He just had drawings. But he had a confidence that what he could see in his mind would work. He was claimed to be a bit socially awkward, a bit of a renegade. Didn't quite fit in. And at 24 years old, this brilliant painter had just 3 commissions for painting, none of which he had completed. So, if you're 24, you have autism, and you haven't done what you've wanted to do in life, you may have Da Vinci within you yet. It gets worse. At 29 years old, Leonardo da Vinci had so much debt that he had to flee his hometown. He was a failure at life. He was Leonardo da Vinci. It doesn't end when it ends. You've got a whole life. Don't count yourself out if you're 30 and you haven't gotten there yet. What Da Vinci had was a special understanding of shade, of space, of form, of detail, and the science behind those things. Which leads me to believe he was a visual thinker on the autistic scale. He was good from art to inventing gadgets. He just seemed to have it in his mind. He could see it. Somehow, in the midst of all of that, he learned pretty much everything that could be taught at that time. And he became what is known as the Renaissance man. He was left-handed and wrote in something called mirror script, which means basically that he wrote the wrong direction and you could only read it if you looked at it in a mirror. Da Vinci was very confident in his skills to produce things. And that confidence is so important to autistic success. Even when you're thinking differently, even when you're thinking outside the normal box of the way it has to be, you need to keep that confidence that you can do it and sell your ideas to those who will listen. Not all will. You'll get a lot of rejections. But keep going, and eventually you will find the believers and let your ideas take shape. This is key to all autistic success. This ability to have confidence. And then Da Vinci did something else that is so important to autistics. He challenged those around him, saying this: if you don't think this will work, I am prepared to demonstrate it for you. And that is exactly what us autistics must do. We must learn to demonstrate it. Show our notebook, show our portfolio, show our prototype. And while we might not be able to sell it with our sales flattery, we can show what we have, and the show and tell method is powerful. You, autistic, whatever your gift is, develop a show and tell presentation with it. Offer your work. Show it to the world. Leonardo is a man who had a full display of what I call autistic potential. The merger between brilliant analytical thinking, that kind of engineering side of autism, and that artistic, think outside the box talent that makes painters and artists and those types of things. Then we find both of those in the autistic community. But when you take that brilliant fantasy of the artistic world and you combine it with the engineering problems, what happens is you get this unique brand of things. You get something that's not quite engineering and not altogether fantasy. And a lot of times that bridge between what can't be done and the engineering actually works, and the autistic solves problems that the neurotypical world could not solve. Leonardo's life was unfortunately also somewhat of a cautionary tale. Many of his paintings were unfinished. He could have sold them and lived very comfortably. But at the same time, he wanted to perfect them. He was so intent on getting them just right and could never be quite satisfied with them that a lot of times it hindered him from the financial positioning he needed to be really successful. Even while he's painting his greatest work, the Last Supper, he's sending out job applications for little jobs to get him money. At one point, he decorates a clock in exchange for a bundle of firewood. I think it's an important lesson for us autistics to remember that you have to bring enough of your talent to market, even if you're not completely satisfied with it, so that you can make the money necessary to live and to do the really great work that you have inside of you. So bring some things to market, even if they're not perfect. It's interesting that Leonardo da Vinci has this insistence on perfection that is both his greatest gift and his greatest weakness. His ability to mix observation and imagination got him a lot of mockery. But also history has vindicated him as being 300 years ahead of his time, roughly. It's interesting that this is something that seems to be an autistic quality. Elon Musk says some things that you just go, whoa, where's he going with that? And I just kind of wonder, in 300 years, those futuristic things that he's saying now, will they be proven out? Will they be shown to be that he's just simply ahead of his time? All over the world, the name Leonardo da Vinci is recognized as a man above man, a man of greatness, and dare I say, in his own way, success. A man who thought differently and loved to be only himself and would not compromise that. His artistic gifts of visualization, combined with his mathematical gifts and engineering gifts, combined with an important third thing, incessant curiosity. And that is an important piece for the autistic. Keep being curious. Don't ever let yourself get so cynical that a passion to understand is somehow burned out of you. Keep pushing that forward, especially in the area of your gift. So go find your gift, find those talents, and keep curious until those talents become fully formed. And when they do, you might be the next autistic success story. You can be an independent autistic.